Brooke Goldstein, Executive Director of the Lawfare Project and author of NGO Hatred, a manual for mobilization, and Jessica Montell, Executive Director of HaMoked, joining us from Jerusalem. HaMoked, which would be one of the organizations that would be affected by this bill. I'll start with you, Brooke Goldstein, because you've tweeted and spoken out in support of this bill. Your reaction to the news that it's being shelved for now, at least, and why you think it's needed.
You know, I have to be honest, what really baffles me is the fact that we have this need on Israeli TV to put terror apologists disguised as human rights activists to argue one side or the other of what is a false debate, because HaMoked and Jessica Montell runs this group, receives hundreds of thousands of dollars from foreign governments. So it's no wonder why she, as what I would call a foreign agent or a puppet of foreign governments, would be celebrating the fact that in Israel, we have no checks and balances on foreign funding. And you have to ask yourself, you know, what is the motive of governments like Germany, of the UK, of the Netherlands that are pumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into Israel to influence the Israeli judicial system? And it's not just providing legal services to Palestinian prisoners, which is what groups like HaMoked with their foreign funding do. They are actually, as Ad Khan revealed in a documentary, working together with terrorist groups to promote terrorism. And you have serious issues that need transparency. What, for example, does HaMoked do with the Palestinian Authority's pay for slave program? To what extent do they work with Hamas, for example? Why is it that its former CEO went on record expressing support for the third intifada? Okay. And why are they receiving foreign government money? That's the question here.
Okay, you raise a good point. First of all, Jessica, your response to the news about the bill and it being shelved for now.
Well, HaMoked is a legal aid organization assisting Palestinians living under Israeli military rule. The equivalent of HaMoked in dozens of countries around the world is receiving support from the same governments, foreign governments, the European Union, and European member states are supporting HaMoked the same way they would support the Colombian HaMoked and the Darfurian HaMoked and the Sri Lankan HaMoked. There's nothing not transparent, the opposite. Everyone can quote where our sources of funding come from and what our budget is, because we are so transparent and advertise all of that. The European Union and the US government are funding all sorts of worthwhile projects in Israel. It's water desalination and cancer research and support for Holocaust survivors and support for human rights. So that's a package. Israel has signed a treaty with the European Union regulating all forms of support, as well as free trade and free travel. It's a little disingenuous for the Israeli government to say we want all of
Brooke,
that.
I'll get to you in a second. Let Jessica finish.
It's not human rights.
All right, you can respond.
One more thing. Well, let me just add one more point.
Around the designated terrorist group. Right. Why are you getting funding from foreign governments?
Okay. I do want to ask both of you your reaction to the news of today, which is the government, which does have, I would say, certainly most, if not all, of its supporters support this bill. The fact that it's been shelved. Also, I want to get your reaction to that.
Because Israel is foolish not to have the same checks and balances that every other Western democracy has when it comes to foreign funding and foreign government influence into Israeli sovereignty, especially when it has to do with aiding and abetting actual terrorism. In the United States, you have laws like the Foreign Agent.
Jessica, let Brooke finish. Jessica, I'll give you a chance to respond. Go finish up your point, Brooke.
Okay, so my point is, if you don't register in the U.S. for doing exactly what she's doing, which is receiving foreign government money, you go to jail. Okay, this is a group that works directly
That's patently
with terrorist groups.
That is
and you can
patently
check it for yourself
misleading
on
to
Oxfam's
characterize
documents
us
All
as
right.
if we are foreign
who's
agents.
sanitizing herself as a human rights
Okay.
advocate. And Israel needs to control foreign funding into this
Okay, I
country.
want to give Jessica a chance now to respond.
If the government thinks that an organization is doing something illegal, obviously support for terrorism would be patently illegal, and
You
HaMoked
have
would be
a
shut down.
campaign
Brooke,
against
Brooke,
You
please
have
let
a
Jessica
campaign
speak.
against
Is
the
providing
designation
Brooke,
of
please let
Israeli
Jessica speak.
terrorists. You are a liar. I'm sorry.
Individuals that is working through Israeli mechanisms, working through the Israeli courts. Now, the fact that this government wants to undermine the Israeli judicial system and wants to restrict and even shut down human rights organizations. I mean, you have to
Good
connect the
talking
dots
points.
between
talking
all of the
points.
different agendas of this government, targeting and
Your
attacking
agenda
human
is
rights
clear.
organizations. And critics
agenda
is
clear.
only
You have a
one
terror
part of the
hotline.
agenda of this
You have a
very
terror
extremist,
hotline.
ultra-nationalist government. So, from my mind, it is most welcome that Israel's closest allies have reiterated that if you want to be a part of the community of liberal democracies, free association
Okay,
of nonprofit organizations
All right.
and their ability.
Okay, I want to leave it at that. I do want to close out and say that this bill, which was proposed by the Prime Minister's own party, is not in a sense dead yet. It has been temporarily withdrawn. We will have to see if in the coming Knesset or beyond that the government tries to bring this bill up. Clearly, it's going to engender plenty of debate as it did. I want to thank you both, Jessica Montell and Brooke Goldstein, for joining us on The Rundown.